Welcome.
Welcome. Yes, indeed. Indeed, welcome.
I'm going to go through this very quickly.
No, don't go through very
Because
quickly.
No, I'm just kidding.
You take your time.
We got into this, then I got a call, kind of stop the recording. Kind of pissed me off too a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
It is a little frustrating.
I'm a little... Anyway.
Hi, and welcome to
and welcome.
Swircast.
This is Swircast, episode 8.
Wow.
Count them, 8. And this is also the first podcast that I am introducing.
It is.
I'm pretty jazzed about that, I'm not going to lie.
Unplanned.
Which is also why I was a little bit, my gears were grinded when the recording got so unceremoniously stopped.
It was an event you greatly dreaded.
Yes.
Indeed.
Anyway, we're going to get into some housekeeping here. Would you like to, first, I am Marco, one of your hosts. And I am followed by Giorgio here.
I'm illustrious.
The illustrious Giorgio.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, would you like to get us into our housekeeping here?
Yeah, we got housekeeping,
Housekeeping?
And, it's a basic housekeeping. You got your live streams. We got you on twitch.tv/Swir Media on Mondays from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. That's midnight for those of you out there that don't know that. And then there's Tuesdays and Thursdays. You got you 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.s. Catch us. And then, we do want to formally extend an apology. We've had some issues with the stream and the podcast going up late, and quite frankly, we do have an excuse. The heat's been just ridiculous.
It actually says up here on the teleprompter. Yes, we have teleprompters here, folks. It says the heat has been fun.
Yeah, but we're now at the end.
Now we're at the end.
It's rhetorical,
It's raining outside. It's a little cold.
Well, it was, but it stopped. But it's good though because we're in a drought, so
good for the reservoirs,
for the aquifers. Got to refill those.
Well,
but hey, it's good though because it just works out that way,
So, yeah.
And right now, just to kind of soothe your minds a little bit, we're starting with an image of a sparrow in flight, because we're riding that wind. So we're gonna write that wind right into your news. We got your news. News. Got you. You want to get this first one? You want to get this first one?
Yeah, I think I'll take this one.
Okay.
New PlayStation Plus free games for September now available. Why do you keep highlighting that? It's like confusing.
Because those are the games.
I know. I need to read from back a little bit, dude. Okay.
Here,
As previously revealed, the new titles will be available at all levels of PlayStation Plus, from Essential all the way up through Premium this month. The games will include Need for Speed Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Tome. So, go play that. We looked up what Tome is because I didn't know what that was. I've been hearing about it.
Apparently it's a 10 out of 10.
It's apparently 10 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah.
It is in stock on PlayStation store.com or store.playstation.com.
Get it before it sells out.
So get them while they have them. They're hot off the press.
Moving right along with our news, we got some Cyberpunk 2077 news. They have a new official modding tool now. It's called Red Mod. And you can download it from their website for free. It's got a launcher with the UI and its user interface for you guys that don't know what UIs are. It's not going to support older mods, and it's for fan use, not commercial use, okay? We also got, as I'm sure you guys have probably heard at this point, but if you have not, it's good because, hey, you should hear it from us. We got the first Phantom Liberty expansion coming to 2077 in 2023.
It's like the Phantom Pain, but it's Phantom Liberty.
It's like a spy thriller expansion, apparently. It's going to be set in a whole new district in Night City.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
And it's the first and last expansion. So
yeah, they're really closing this one. I feel like they're just trying to move on. They're like, well, let's cut our losses.
Yeah, and I'm trying to move on too. So listen, check it. Patch 1.6, you got new equipables, you got a transmog system, cross-platform progression, new racing minigame.
Those who don't understand transmog, it means you can make any clone look like anything without changing stats.
Yeah, it's a transmogrification.
It's really something. It's really something.
You got your transmogrification.
It's really something that should have been in the game at launch.
Migration. What's it short for? Transmog.
And we gotta make a video on Cyberpunk, dude. I have so much to say about that one.
Save it because we got topics.
No, I am saving it, but I'm saying we gotta do like a video on that.
I know, but just save it.
I'm gonna save it.
No, we're gonna listen.
No, listen. I'm just saying. We should do a video on it at some point.
I'm just saying, save it for the video.
I ain't. No, just kidding.
Good, we're on the same page. We're gonna jump into your topics, okay? And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we pick up where we left off from Gamescom. You know, we got some things we missed, isn't it? Isn't that the truth?
Got a few things. Not
few
too
things.
many. Not a ton. We've got like a small gaggle of things that we missed.
A micro gaggle.
Yeah. So I think to start off, we can start with Outlast Trials. It's the threequel, I believe, of the Outlast series, which is developed by Red Barrels and published by Red Barrels.
Are those the ones that explode?
I think that is what they named it after.
I didn't know they make games now.
Yeah, they do. It's pretty
Impressive.
crazy.
It's pretty impressive.
And it's coming out October 28th, 2022. At least a closed beta, they're doing that. I want to say there's like a website. Just search Outlast Trials beta, and it'll probably take you to the right spot. But yeah, game looks crazy. All of these things too. I'll say like all of these like following games that we've missed from last week. Like, go check out the trailer. They all had really good trailers. So
yeah, the Outlast Trials one looked really nutty compared to like even the first two, and the first two were pretty.
They pushed it.
There was
a lot of like, there's a lot of pretty messed up stuff in those games, but this one, just from the trailer, it's like, holy shit, that's like overload.
And it looks like there's like, it's in the name, like the whole Trials, but it looks like almost like like they're doing like a Saw, like kind of thing
like
going
a
on.
Jigsaw something.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Not like it's like a spin-off of like Jigsaw, but it's like you could tell they're like riffing on it, where it's like same kind of deal, like
you're gonna have like escape rooms almost.
Yeah, it's like escape rooms and all that, but I think there was supposed to be like a multiplayer aspect to it too.
Which makes sense considering it's starting on a closed beta.
Yeah, that does make sense. But needless to say, that game looks pretty good. Closed beta is starting on October 28th of this year. So go check that out.
Yeah. You should also check out the new trailer for Dead Island 2, because that is something that's coming back. Deep Silver, they were going to make this back, when was it, like 2014? 2013?
I believe so.
They were supposed to make this a while ago, yeah. But now it's not on an island. It's set in Hell A, as they say. And it looks really cool.
It does look really cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks like the whole melee zombie combat that Dead Island 1 was known for is making its comeback, but it's been a while, so it looks much fresher.
That sounds pretty bad, I'm not going to lie.
So that sounds what?
Like, that sounds pretty bad, I'm not going to lie.
What sounds bad?
Just like the old combat coming back.
Yeah,
that old combat wasn't that good, dude.
It's the old combat, but it's better.
Yeah, like, so they I forget the whole list of like developers, like, but there was like 3 different developers that it's gone through. And Dambusters Studios is the dev right now. They're the ones that have been working on it for the last, like, I think, couple of years. And they ended up basically taking all of to my knowledge, they basically kept all the design docs and all that, but they restarted all of development for the game because there was like a ton of stuff that just wasn't coming together. That's also why the game took so long. And so this is basically that final version that they remade, and they're getting it going. And honestly, it looks really cool. Like, it looks really, really tight. So
yeah, we'll see how that looks like.
We'll see how it looks. It looks like there's a lot of like environmental stuff. There's a lot of like, cars that you can explode, and there's a lot of like like light poles you can shoot down on the like fallen zombies, and there's a whole like it's actually really funny. They like made it kind of like a selling point in one of the interviews. I can't remember which interview, but like they did an interview with one of the devs, and they were like, "Yeah, we've been working really hard on like the whole like zombie burning mechanic. Like the zombies, like when they burn, like they melt properly or something." I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, it looks really tight. Again, go check out the trailers. It should be pretty good. It's supposed to be coming out February 3rd, 2023. So that's not too far away.
Very nice. Also, check out Kojima's podcast on Spotify.
Yes.
Apparently, you're telling me that's a mess, but it's still entertaining.
Well, it's not that it's a mess. It's just all over the place. Like, it's Kojima, dude. Like, have you like, I know you have, but it's like, have you looked at his Twitter?
Yep.
It's like...
Yeah, so if you're interested, just look it up.
I'd go check it out though. It's Kojima.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Continuing on with our GameSpot coverage, or Gamescom, Gamescom coverage. All these games. You got a new Telltale game, coming out. The guys from The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us.
Friggin' Roof Among
Us. They're making this new game called The Expanse, and it's like a sci-fi kind of Telltale game. Honestly, I mean, it looks good. It looks like they updated their engine and stuff, which is cool. But I'd have to learn more about the story. Honestly,
yeah,
I don't know too much about what's going on here.
Yeah, so The Expanse is like, from what I know, it's like a series. It's like a show. And this is a game in that universe, but the game is like a prequel.
Oh, okay.
And so there's certain characters that are like in the show that like obviously is like somehow going to make it through, but it's like...
Listen, if you're an Expanse fan...
But yeah, it looked really tight. It looked like it was like...
Gotta wait till
from the
summer
trailer,
next
it
year.
looked like it was almost like some sort of like murder mystery, something or another, like on some little spaceship or space station or something.
Mm.
But there's just like, you just see like a bunch of like beheaded people. Like there's like a bunch of like, there's something with like heads. Like they kept showing that in the trailer. So it looked pretty tight. It's supposed to release in summer 2023. So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, got a few more games here. You want to take this next couple?
Yeah, don't mind it. High on Life. It's the next game from Trover Saves the Universe developer Squanch Games. This is basically Justin Roiland's whole dev studio. Justin Roiland's like one of the minds behind Rick and Morty. I think everyone knows all that at this point. Like it's pretty like.
If you don't, there you go.
If you don't, there you go. Though it's Rick and Morty basically, like creator. Whole thing with this game, so Trover Saves the Universe is like, his comedy on like a platformer, but now it's his comedy on a shooter. And so there's a bunch of guns. The whole thing with it is the guns are like they're called like Gatlians or something like that, and they're basically like every gun is like an alien, but they're all part of the same race, but they're different. And he got like different comedians to voice the guns, and so you're like talking with your guns, and your guns are like going on the experience with you and the journey and all that. And it's supposed to have some little Metroidvania aspects. It's supposed to have a lot of goofs, a lot of gaffes, and it looks good. If you like Rick and Morty, you'll like this. It's kind of been like that with all of his games that he's worked on, because I know he's done a few like VR games too.
Yeah. If his brand of humor is for you, then you'll likely enjoy all these games.
Yeah, but yeah, that's coming out December 13th, 2022. It is developed and published by Squanch Games, and I believe it's also coming to Games Pass day one. Yeah. So if you have Games Pass, you're good to go on that one.
Gird your hard drives.
Yeah, dude. Next is Return to Monkey Island. That's the sixth installment in the Monkey Island franchise.
The Game-O-Matic universe.
Yeah, dude. It's developed by Terrible. Oh my god. It was developed by Terrible Toy Box, and it's published by Devolver Digital. Set to release on September 19th of this year. So
you gotta wait like a whole week.
Yeah, if you're a Monkey Island fan, it's more Monkey Island. I actually barely started playing the first one a few days ago.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It feels dated.
It feels a little old. But yeah, it's fun. It's got a lot of character, and the little, just the art direction of like the little pixel art. Because I have the one where you can like go to the new like remaster. Yeah, you can swap between the versions, and like, yeah, it's really cool seeing like the two versions, like the pixel art versus like the more like vector drawn, hand drawn.
It's amazing
shit.
just seeing where technology has gone, huh?
Yeah, it is, but it's also I'll be honest, I feel like that game looks better in the old pixel art. It had like way more heart, way more character, like
Interesting.
every pixel had a purpose. But yeah, like there's this one time where I went into like a little like pub or whatever. It's like pretty early on, and I'm like talking to some pirates there, and like when you talk to them, it does like a zoom in on their face, and like when you look at it in the new one, it's just some like little cartoon pirate, right? But when you go to the old version, dude, it's like trying to be photorealistic, like pixel art, and there's just like way more character and like a lot of that stuff. Where I'm like, but that looks more like the pirate I'm talking to. I'm like I don't know. It's just I think it actually looked better before, but yeah. If you like Monkey Island, it's coming out. It's coming out in like a week. So yeah. Fuck yeah! I want to get some wings from Northgate, dude. All right, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, nice. You know, we also got this one other game. You know, I don't know if you've heard of Sonic. You know,
what's a Sonic?
Well, Sonic is a little hedgehog, okay, and he goes pretty quickly.
I had a Sonic hair when I was a little bit younger.
Well, Sonic has shoes. I don't know if you knew that. But
He's got boots.
And the power's not in his boots, but he uses those in order to protect his feet from the power that he has inside. Because he runs so fast, he would just shred his soul.
He's like Flash.
Listen, you think Flash is fast. Listen, Sonic's on a whole new frontier, okay, of speed. In the new Sonic open world, Breath of the Wildian style game, Sonic Frontiers.
Every game's trying to do that now.
Team
I think
Sonic's
it's cool.
on it. Team
I think
Sonic's
it's
on it.
cool.
You know, they got Sega publishing, you know, this whole game. You know, they got them behind them, backing them up. You know,
per usual.
And this November 8th, you can be running around.
That's really soon, actually. I didn't
be
realize
going fast, jumping through worlds, zipping through doodahs.
So here's the thing
Looks
with
pretty
this
cool.
one. It actually does look pretty tight.
Yeah.
Like they showed him going through like this. Like again, go check the. What are you doing? Go watch
what
the
are you
trailer.
doing?
Okay.
Sitting here listening to us.
Yeah, was that the last game?
Yeah, that was the last game.
All
of
right.
us.
Well, needless to say, it looks really tight. It looks really cool. But they showed him go to like this. He went through like a little portal or something, and like there is just like a whole shitload of like tracks like flowing through each other, looping around each other. It looked really badass. I'm like, I want to go fast. But then like the combat too, like you're like almost like drawing on the floor while he's running, and there's like some like big monsters that you're fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have to basically outline them, but they're like moving. So you gotta like outline them when they're like stationary. It looked pretty cool. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, like it seems, obviously it's just a trailer, but like it seems from what they're showing that there's a slight level of like thinking outside the box a bit, where it's not just like, okay, well let's give him like a punch, let's give him this, let's let him climb. Like they're like, okay, what fits for like Sonic in an open world?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I'm not like incredibly jazzed because Sonic has honestly kind of sucked for a while, but this one looks pretty cool, so we'll see.
You know, and that has been your Gamescom coverage.
Yes,
you know, that is.
Thank you for watching.
You know, we've closed that bag. You know, put the cat in it, closed it, and now we're gonna open up a whole new bag. It's gonna be the Disney and Marvel showcase that happened last Friday. There's a lot of stuff that Disney released through that, and then there's also the D23 convention, which is like another sort of showcase that Disney did, where they showed more of like the shows and, you know, Star Wars stuff and all that they're working on.
In other words, they convoluted a lot of their announcements.
So we're counting this as a whole topic, kind of like we just did with the Gamescom. Okay, so we're just gonna run through some of the stuff that they announced. You know, so among those, there is a Black Panther and Captain America game in development at Skydance Studios. So Amy Hennig, she worked on Uncharted 2. I think it was 3 also, wasn't it? Or was it just the first one?
I want to say 4 also, dude.
Dude,
Didn't
2, no, that was Neil. That was Neil Druckmann. But Amy Hennig, she's been behind a lot of different games.
But didn't Neil take over like after she left on 4?
Is that how it worked? I
believe so, because I remember people giving Neil Druckmann shit because they're like, he stole all her work and this and that. I believe it was her, like for 4, because he came in like I'm pretty sure it was like towards the end of development.
Gotcha. Well, we'll confirm that for you and for the audience, and verify that for you. But she's currently she's been working on this Black Panther and Captain America game. Before this, she was working on a Star Wars game that got canceled.
Oh, 1313, right?
1313, yeah.
Dude, that thing looked tight.
It did, and then she moved on to this, and we're finally getting to see what she's been working on. So that's exciting. It's been a while since we've seen an Amy Hennig-led game.
Yeah,
so.
they didn't really show too much. They showed kind of like a little cinematic trailer or whatever. It's basically Black Panther, Captain America, but there's also like, it's like a 4-player something or another. Like it looks like it's like multiplayer almost.
Right.
And so it's like they called it, what was it called? It was like the king, the captain, the soldier, and like the bodyguard or something.
Yeah.
Was like one of the things that they showed. And it's basically like there's Black Panther, and then like I forget what they're called, but like his guards, like women, like the women guards that are like with the spears and stuff. There's like one of them with him, right? And then there's like Captain America, and then he has like a soldier with him, I guess. But it also does look like it's like back in like World War II times. So for me, I'm like, dude, I wonder if this is like Black Panther, like T'Challa, like it's his dad. Like when the dad was still Black Panther.
That makes sense.
Because I'm like, that's kind of tight. But yeah, if this is also supposedly, because there was like some leaks about a Black Panther game recently. If this is the same one, which I'm pretty sure it is, like there was rumors that it's going to be almost like an Arkham-esque kind of game with like an open world. You can go around, climb around as like with like specialized like movement and stuff for that particular hero or whatever. And it's going to be kind of that kind of deal where it's like you'll find little areas where there's like some goons or some bad guys. Maybe they're Nazis. Maybe they're Hydra. Maybe they're just thieves. Who knows? But there's gonna be the rumors that it's gonna be like kind of like that. And so when they announced this and they showed it's like there's like Black Panther, Captain America, all this stuff, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like really, I want to see what they're gonna do with this because I'm like, I like these characters, but again, like they didn't really show too much. And hearing that Amy Hennig worked on it, or she's working on it, that's very good. It's very interesting. But yeah, I just want to see more of it because with the leaks and the rumors and all that stuff, like this could be pretty cool.
So yeah, we got that coming up. Just to kind of run through some of the other ones real quick here before we go on our break. We got Disney Speedstorm, so that's like a new kart racing game with just tons of iconic Disney characters. That's being developed by Gameloft of Asphalt mobile game racing fame. So
if you looked pretty tight too.
If you've raced your Asphalt, you already kind of have a good idea of how this is probably going to feel. Then you got your World of Heroes. That's like a Pokemon Go-esque game being worked on by Pokemon Go devs Niantic. They didn't really give us too much. They just kind of gave us like a teaser.
Yeah,
trailer.
They just showed it was like everyone, like you're all heroes. Like you've got the hero inside of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's on my phone, isn't it? And they're like, yeah, it's on your phone.
And they're like, you carry it with you wherever you go. And you're like it's my phone.
I'm like,
right?
When did this become I Spy?
Exactly. Like, do you know what it is? I'm like, okay, now it feels like Blue's Clues. It's like they don't know who they are, All right, and we're back from intermission. Sorry about that there. It looks like we actually lost a little of that last recording. Nothing too important. We just, there's just some other stuff, Secret Invasion, Season 3 of Mandalorian, new sequel to Enchanted, Little Mermaid, live action, all the standard fare, Hocus Pocus 2, Star Wars Andor.
As well, Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night launching. These are all launching, looks like, between this year and next year. So if you want more info, just look up D23. You'll find some more info there, but yeah, to close out the Marvel and Disney section, we're going to start by opening up the Ubisoft Forward section. So there's a lot of conferences, a lot of different things that were announced over the weekend, and Assassin's Creed had a few things, right?
Yep.
Did you want to kind of run our audience through them, let them know what we got going on here?
So there's Okay, so here's the thing. So the way they announced all this, there's Assassin's Creed Infinity, which isn't a game. This is like that whole thing that's been like rumored and leaking, and it's been doing a lot of stuff, really. Okay, but This is a whole thing that everyone's been kind of hearing about, and essentially it's going to be a new hub for all of the AC franchise moving forward. And so, Vice President, Executive Producer of the Assassin's Creed, Mark Alex Cote, explained that Infinity is not a game per se. It's going to be a single entry point for our fans into the Assassin's Creed franchise into the future. Infinity is going to be a hub that will unite all our different experiences and our players together in meaningful ways. And so I think that might be like, it might be like a game, but it's, again, like you said, it's just like a hub. And then from there you'll like kind of launch your games, and like maybe it'll be almost like Assassin's Creed 4, where it's like you're like at it's Abstergo, right? You're at like an Abstergo, like...
Because the whole thing is they're going to be doing like multiple like Assassin's Creed like stories and games happening. Like
they're doing a lot right now, because they announced like 3 or 4 games, I believe. I think it was 4 actually. So number 1 was actually Assassin's Creed Codename Red. It's described by Cote as being the next premium flagship title and the future of our open world RPG games. It's going to be set in feudal Japan, which is basically like a whole setting that a lot of people have been like asking for a while from Assassin's Creed. So them finally going over that is like cool, but that's one of them. And then the other one is Assassin's Creed Codename Hex or Hexe. Hexe. Cote also revealed the second game that is in development for the Infinity platform. It is in development at Ubisoft Montreal, and it is directed by Clint Hawking, the director of Far Cry 2 and Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and also Watch Dogs Legions. Wow, that's quite a few games,
It's quite the pedigree.
And it was described by Cote as a new flagship title. A lot of flagships.
Yeah.
And a very different type of Assassin's Creed game.
Okay.
So this one looks pretty interesting from the little trailer. They didn't show much from any of these, honestly, except for Mirage, which we'll get to. They didn't really show too much. They more kind of talked about it. And yeah, but needless to say, like this one, from the trailer, like the trailer doesn't show much, but it does show like the Assassin's Creed logo, and it looks almost like a little like twine hex kind of like, you know, like little sigil, something or another, like witchcraft kind of shit, right? And so, and that was the thing too, like when it like fades away, there's like a whole like almost like transmutation circle kind of looking thing, like you know, spell symbols and shit like that, like witchcraft stuff, and it looked like it's gonna get darker, at least with that one. Again, they didn't show much. They honestly showed like nothing, but you know, one could assume from what they showed, you know, like, and especially from them saying it's very different. So I'm like, we'll see what that one is. But yeah, those are the 2 that are going to be for the, you know, Assassin's Creed Infinity and all of that. And then the next Assassin's Creed game, I don't know how these releases are going. Like, I don't know how that was something that wasn't really clear to me either. Like, I don't know how this is releasing. Like, I'm like, okay, so, well, I guess let me run through it first. So Assassin's Creed Mirage, this is the actual like next Assassin's Creed game. And it takes place in Baghdad 20 years before the events of Valhalla. It will star Basim Ibn Ishaq or whatever. I believe from what I was reading, I didn't play Valhalla, but I believe from what I was reading, that was actually a character in Valhalla. And so, you know, it's kind of interesting. It is supposed to be a return to form to the original Assassin's Creed gameplay template with more of a modern feel. During development, the team at Ubisoft Bordeaux focused on the same 3 design pillars of the original Assassin's Creed game. The 3 pillars being stealth, parkour, and assassinations. And yeah, that should be pretty cool. It's supposed to release in 2023. From the trailer, that one they did have like, it was all cinematic, but they did show a little bit more of like you know, they showed the character, like they showed the setting, like, you know, they showed a little bit more. There's no gameplay, but from what they showed, it does look a lot more like, even just from the cinematic, it looks a lot more like OG Assassin's Creed, which is, you know, I think could be taken a lot of different ways. You know, I think it's kind of cool. I liked the first two pretty much only.
Yeah.
Black Flag was cool too. That one was pretty good, but aside from those, like, yeah, none of them really grabbed me too much. You know, 3 was, oh boy, 3 was 3. And
what's this codename? This codename Jade right here.
So codename Jade is going to be set in ancient China.
Okay.
So they're doing one in Japan and China. But the thing about this one is this one's a mobile game. So it's like a full Assassin's Creed open world whole deal, but it's on mobile. And apparently the way that they were building the level design and like the world and all of that was with like touch screen, like touch controls in mind and all that. So, you know,
interesting.
We'll see more from that, I guess, as they show it. But yeah, if you're
company's still working towards mobile games here, huh?
No shit, dude. But
very interesting.
Yeah. So the thing that's odd to me about this, and not odd, I'm just confused, is like the whole Infinity thing, because I know it's a hub, and I already kind of have a picture of what that is, but they're like, you know, the next flagship title, next premium this, and like whatever. But then they announced like Mirage, and I'm like, okay, so is Mirage going to come out before this whole thing launches? And you're like showing us this thing before it's like ready? Is it like I'm just a little confused on the releases for it, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get some more info. So that's going to close out your Ubisoft Forward announcements, and now we're done with all the announcements. We can get to the topics, the topics, the ones that are not announcement topics. And one that we decided we want to talk about is this Thor Love and Thunder. You know, some of you may have seen this already in theaters. We did not. We were in the middle of some moves and things like that and such, and we decided, hey, we're gonna wait till that Disney Plus release. And so we saw that this last Friday with our sister, and I'll be honest with you, the movie was great, dude. I think that was the best Thor so far.
Yeah, I really, I don't know if it was, I'd have to see the other ones again. It's definitely not the first two.
No.
But like, boy.
So we're here to talk about Thor.
Well, I think first we should say I kind of messed up. I tapped the done button. That's why we had to kind of, you know, had to kind of stitch it together here. But we're back.
Making it work.
Making it work. And yeah, we're here with Love and Thunder, right?
Yeah, Love and Thunder. And let me tell you, I had a lot of both.
It did.
Personally, that was my favorite Thor, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would say that so much, but it's definitely not the first two that were that good. The first one's not bad. Second one's like meh. Third one's really good, and then this one I thought it was really good. I remember hearing some people complaining, like from the theatrical like release and all that with this one. Because I want to say this one didn't do that well.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really good. I think part of it too was, you know, we kind of knew, we had already heard like what Taika Waititi's like whole plan was with this one anyway. It was like supposed to be a rom-com and all of that. And so for me watching it like that, like he did good. You know, it was funny. It was very entertaining, and yeah, it had cool visuals, had cool fights.
So to be clear, moving forward, you know, we're just trying to be nice with the audience here, but we are giving you a full spoiler warning. We're going to talk about the whole plot. It's been out for a little while. You guys have had a chance to watch it.
We even saw it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, we saw it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know,
so you know,
I
think there's enough time.
Yeah, it's enough time, but we want to be nice too, you know, and be like, you know, spoiler warning.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because like it literally was just a love story with his hammer, dude. Like, it was great.
Well, it was more than just
Of
that,
course
but
it was more than
that was
that,
a
but-
huge aspect. The whole rom-com aspect ended up being between his hammer.
Yeah.
And like it was like the hammer and the axe, like it was like he was like committing an affair, like he cheated on Mjolnir with like the Stormbreaker or whatever. But yeah, it was really funny. It was also very heartwarming though. You know,
It was very
had
heartwarming,
had a lot of heart to it.
Yes.
So from what I heard, I think the version we saw had like updated CGI.
Yes. Yes, I read that too.
Yeah. So I don't know how much of that played into like, you know, the viewing experience.
Yeah, so from what I've seen and what I read so far, it's not like anything too major. Apparently they did this too with Doctor Strange too.
Yeah, I saw like a side by side. It was like Heimdall's son when he's doing the like head like
That was the most
illusion
notable
thing.
one that people pointed out.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was other ones apart from that, but that's the one that I remember as well. And
Yeah.
so it's
You know,
I don't
you
think
take
that
it for what it
affects
is.
anything in the film in terms of the overall message or anything. It's more of an aesthetic.
Or the pacing even.
And yeah, even the pacing. The pacing of the movie was really good.
That movie was very well paced, and I just honestly like I just really love Taika Waititi's writing,
Yeah, me too.
And-
I am a fan of his.
and the whole like, you know, once you get to the end and like you see like he ends the narration of the story, he's like, and they were always known as like Love and Thunder. You're like, oh fuck, like for me, I thought that was like really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I think it was very earned. I think it was well written. I can understand why some people would be like, you know, bored by this one or maybe didn't enjoy it. You know, if you're going into it expecting like another Thor movie, like Thor Ragnarok, or even just another Marvel movie, it's not really that. It is very different. It definitely has the Marvel like blood running through it, like the MCU blood, but
Right.
it's completely different. It's genuinely like a comedy. It's like a rom-com, you
Yeah.
know. So
I was reading apparently Chris Hemsworth was saying that the ask for his physicality for this movie was more intense than any of the other ones. Like they wanted him to get bigger than any of the other movies, and he goes that he's getting older, so it's getting harder. He goes, so he had like a particularly difficult time getting as big as you see him. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you watch this movie, I do encourage you to watch it.
Dude, that's nutty too, because I remember when
That fool is huge. In this movie,
he is
dude.
huge, and I remember seeing Ragnarok, dude, and I remember that one being like, holy shit, this guy's jacked.
Yeah.
Like I remember that one even being like that. Like that was a push. That was like they made him.
Yeah,
like,
they asked for even more in this
and
one.
they asked even more for this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. I think where it's setting up for the whole MCU and all that, you know, at least just, well, it's not even like this is a huge movie in the MCU. It's like right now, but it's more just to lead into like Guardians of the Galaxy, and yeah, it's really cool. From what we know, the next Thor movie is supposedly rumored to have Hercules in it. Who
Brendan
was
Fraser.
no,
Too bad.
who is oh my god, who is teased like in the after credits, the end credits for Love and Thunder. They show Hercules. I forget the actor, but it's this one dude from Ted Lasso. And he's like one of the like soccer players. But they got that guy for Hercules, and yeah, it's supposed to be the second one.
Very nice.
But Taika Waititi already got fired off of everything.
Yeah, I think he probably wanted to move on.
I
You
think
and I were talking about that.
yeah, we were saying that we were watching it. There's a huge aspect of the movie, and it was part of why I enjoyed it. But it feels almost like Taika Waititi was like, you wanted another one? All right, I'll give you another one.
And
I'll
like
give you
there
one.
were certain things that they talked about and they pushed on that one where I was kind of like, whoa, okay, cool. Like you could tell he's just having fun with it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, I'm like,
There's just so many scenes where it's like, dude, like that would never be in the MCU, like even a few
No.
years ago.
well, like the whole scene with like Zeus and all of that. Like I was like,
Dude, that was funny.
that whole scene was great though. It was
That was
very
really
well pulled
funny.
off.
Yeah, Russell Crowe's. Oh, he's not dead, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, because they confirmed that because he like quote unquote dies, like he gets the lightning thrown through him or whatever.
You had your warning.
But they They explain that. Apparently, that's the whole thing. Is he was just like wounded because he's a god, and that necro sword was genuinely like the only thing that can kill gods.
Makes sense.
So his weapon just wounded him. Like it didn't.
So that brings up another point about that movie.
Huge point of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about that yet.
It's Christian Bale.
Dude.
I think it's his best performance ever.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Pumps and breaks a bit, but you know what, dude? He was like genuinely like very intimidating and scary.
He was creepy as fuck, dude.
Yeah, dude. There was like a scene where like the way that they lit it, like when he's coming down that hallway.
Yeah, on the moon.
Yeah,
thing.
and like the way the lighting. Oh, dude, that was so scary. Dude.
There was something.
So
one of those moon monsters looked like something out of Metroid.
There's some that look like Metroid. There's some that honestly
like Metroid Prime.
Reminded me of yeah. Kind of reminds you of like the from 2 also, like the Aang.
Yeah, like the hunters.
Yeah.
That one hunter, the red one. Remember with the spikies?
From Metroid Prime Hunters.
Yeah.
I like that guy. That guy was fun.
I remember loving that game because I was like, Metroid Prime on DS, man, it's okay. But like I can never get past I could never get very far in that game.
You didn't beat it?
Fuck no, dude.
Why not? It's not that difficult.
I was a kid, dude. I was like I told you, I was like, huh?
Uncoordinated.
Well, that too, but like when I was a kid, and I've realized, I think a lot of people are like this, but when I was a kid, I was like so inept at beating games, dude.
I remember that.
It was like up until I was like 7 or 8. Like I remember 7, 8 was when I was like, oh wow, I beat my first game, and wow, I'm able to beat games now.
Very proud moment in any
yeah,
gamer's
dude.
life.
Because I remember before that, I would just play the shit out of games, but I couldn't. I would hit roadblocks, and then I'd be like, I just want to play something else.
It's natural.
Yeah, but then those fateful days where I'm like, I'm gonna stick through it. I'm gonna beat it. Which, by the way, guys, you heard it here first. I am going to be playing through DMC 3. And so honestly, throughout these podcasts, I might update you guys here and there.
He popped the news to me the other day, and when he told me I embraced him, number one, and I told him, this is such a proud moment that you're undergoing this quest and this journey for life fulfillment, and just remember once you get up, just remember once you get up to the mountain, you've spent some time up there. Just come back.
And for a little backstory too, like I bought the special collection, the HD collection on PS5.
Yeah,
I think it's actually on PS4, but I bought it on my PS5, and you saw me play that. Like we were chilling in the same room through the entire period of time while I was playing those.
Yeah.
But I played through the first one, great game. Honestly, still has certain parts of it that still hold up. It's just badass. It's just really cool, right?
Right.
Second one, holy shit, what the fuck were they thinking? Mess of a game. Has a lot of parts that are pretty broken. A lot of parts that make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And those helicopters, oh my god. Okay, I don't think I beat that one because I want to say I got
to a tank.
Did I? Was that what it was?
It was like a tank or something.
It was like a tank or some bigger helicopter.
Which, just listen to the sentence.
Well, yeah, I'm in Devil May Cry fighting a tank.
That's boring.
Okay. But this was after. Okay, so what happened with that game is I had played through because I got through the majority of the game too. I ended it because I had reason. I was like, I want to beat this, but this is bullshit. This game is boring. I'm not enjoying any part of it. It's not that difficult, so I don't feel even rewarded. I don't feel like there's a point to beat it. And then for me, I'm like, I can read a synopsis for the last bit of the story. It's so, honestly,
bland.
It's just so boring, dude. It's just so boring. And so I ended up deciding to not beat it because I was like, you know what? I'd rather just go play 3 and start that one. And so that's what I did. And I started 3, and that game is awesome. But it's a special edition version. Now, for the folks in the back who don't know, DMC, when it first released, DMC 3, Dante's Awakening, when it first released, that version was ridiculously difficult. So I've heard. Okay. Now, Giorgio, being someone who's beaten the game on the hardest difficulty, I think can attest for that. And he beat the original version.
Yes.
Okay. So that leads me to another point. Okay. I've heard about this for a while. Okay. And so for me, like, a big reason why I wanted to even play these games was to get to 3 so I could beat it and then rebeat it on the hardest, because I want to be able to say that I've beaten it. Okay. I know it's very childish. Okay. It's very simple. All right.
I think it's representative of greater things.
Yes, but that'll come into picture at a later time.
That's later.
So the thing is I've been like I've been wanting to play that, and so when I started playing it, I actually got like there's the boss where you get the guitar, the like witch lady or whatever, vampire lady, I can't remember, but you get the guitar from her. I think I got just right after her. So I don't know how far that is in the game. I think that's like about halfway.
Yeah.
And then I ended up just kind of stepping away from it for a while. And like the game is pretty hard, even on that special edition version. Like it's pretty hard. Okay. But it is like not the original from like any stretch of the imagination. From what I've heard, it is not even close. So
the original
what ended up happening
was like Hell Week at Seals. Like,
dude.
But the whole way through.
But like, and that's why I want to play it.
But it's
fun,
though.
So that's the thing is I've been hearing that. Okay, and like what made me even start the original, because I was very apprehensive, was Giorgio kind of explaining. He's like, it's still going to be difficult, dude. Like, this and that. And I had like hangups with emulation at the time. And like it was particularly for like games like that where they're like high performance. Like I just didn't want to do it.
Right.
Just like stupid in hindsight, I realize at this point. Because I've come around and I'm getting there. But needless to say, I stepped away from the game for so long that I'm like, dude, I don't feel right going back to it and just picking it up from where I left off. And I also don't feel like I'm going to be able to do that in a way that's enjoyable. Because I'm going to hit that huge block because I'm halfway in the game and I'm trying to remember basics. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm like, either I can go through that pain or I can restart the game.
Yeah.
And I've decided to restart the game. And with that decision, I also decided to like scrap the PS5 version. I'm just going to I'm going to play the real one. I'm going to play the hard one. I'm going to beat it, and then I'm going to beat it on the hardest. So yeah, that's a little public service announcement. Yeah.
Sounds like you're on your way.
But yeah,
very, very excited.
I will. If you heard it here first, folks, I may or may not. I more likely will update you guys on my progress as I go.
All right. Hey, we'll be checking in too.
We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, some of those enemies, they kind of reminded me of the Ing. Some of them reminded me of like the creatures from the Eclipse, Berserk.
Oh shit! I kind of forgot. We're talking about yes. Okay, so Thor: Love and Thunder, the fights.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so impressive.
Holy shit! You've never seen VFX like this in your life.
Watch it. On to our next topic, and our final topic. You got Gloomwood.
Okay.
All right. This was developed by Dylan Rogers, a good friend of ours. Actually, we don't know him, but I mean, I'm sure he would be a good friend.
But David Szymanski, we actually do know.
Yeah, him we know because he's one of the developers for Gloomwood.
Yeah.
The publisher is New Blood, and it was released in early access on September 5th. Reporting for today on Gloomwood, we have our chief Gloomwood player here in house, Marco. What would you like to update us on?
I thank you for having me here. Yeah, I just want to say, the game's great. I'm real thankful for the privilege to be able to speak on this platform here that you've so curated for yourselves. No, so Gloomwood. So the thing with Gloomwood, let me give you the sitch. All right. So New Blood Games, their whole deal is they're always doing like retro. They're always doing retro shit. Okay, and it's not retro. Like it's like. Honestly, just look up New Blood Interactive. Look at all their games. You've probably heard of some of them. They did Dusk. They did A Medieval. They did what was the other one?
Oh, I don't remember. There's one with magic.
Yeah, I can't remember.
There's one with guns.
Yeah, Ultra Kill was one of them. Then one of them was like Super Blaster or something. I can't remember. It's like a bullet hell something or another. But they do all that stuff, and they've really gotten really good at that because they do. You look at it, you're like, that's like an old school esque kind of game. It's like trying to like feed off nostalgia. But like when you play it and you just watch or even watch it for a little bit longer, you see where it's like, okay, no, that's a new game. Yeah. And it's like it's very well made the way they go about it with their stuff. But Gloomwood, the big deal with this one, because they've done, basically like Quake ripoffs, they've done like a Doom ripoff, they've done like, what do you call it?
Well, it's not a ripoff. It's inspired.
Well, inspired. You get the point. So they've done
ripoff,
that.
It makes it sound like it's not good.
No, it's true. So the whole point with Gloomwood is that Gloomwood's supposed to be a thief ripoff. No, I'm just kidding. It's supposed to be like a thief, inspired game, and it's one of those like interactive simulators and stuff like that where there's like tons of boxes and crap that you can lift and pick up and move around and all sorts of shit like that. And it's, oh my god, guys, it is beautiful for a game, because the thing is it's very eerie. It's got a lot of, it's like very horror focused in terms of its sound design, I believe. Okay, like for me, like there's moments where it almost reminded me of like, what do you call it? Like just Resident Evil 4, when you're like walking through the city and you hear like the Ganados like just like talking, or you hear them just like, like calling after you, or like, well, you hear them doing shit, right? And like, there's a lot of stuff like I think the best way I could put it, that first part in Resident Evil 4 where you come up on that village and then you see like the other cops on the spike?
Yes.
Like literally the beginning of the game, your first time seeing like the whole town of Ganados, like every moment of this early access, like every set piece environment that I popped up to, like felt like that. Where I'm like, I just came up to a whole new area, and like, what are they doing? And I'm just watching for a bit, and you see them just kind of walking around and stuff. And then if I sneak up behind them, like you hear them talking sometimes, where they're like, oh man, like we had the dogs in the thing, and like so and so forgot to feed them, like they're really rabid and stuff. And you'll hear like just like a little like knowledge of like what's around, you know what I mean? Or you'll find like little like pieces of paper with like, stuff written on it, where it's like, and it's ranging from like stuff that's like, telling you basically contextually like there's something in the world, that you can get.
To like lore stuff.
Or it's also like just world building stuff where you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like there's one I read where where it's basically a guy just like talking about how he's like, going crazy, and he wants to see blood, he wants to kill people, he just wants to like see them die. And then there's another one I read where like it was from one of these security guards or like watch guards or whatever, that like they're like, like we saw one of our buddies, like, he took care of like some rabid wolf that came and attacked him, and like instead of just killing it and then moving on, like he would not stop hacking at the body. Like he kept hacking at it until it was just like mush and like you're reading this, like you're not seeing it, you're just reading it.
Right.
So your imagination,
they're well written.
It's very well written, so your imagination's going, and it's just like describing how this guy just went in like a blood frenzy, and it describes basically how like the guy writing it, he's like, I saw that, he's like, and one of the more disturbing parts is that like, me and the few of our other fellow guys that like saw him do that, like we didn't react at all immediately. He's like, it's just now that I'm thinking about it, going back, I realize how crazy that scenario was, and you're like, whoa, like, dang, what the hell is going on here, It's got just so much cool stuff like that, and like the level design, like, oh my god, I want to like, oh my, I could kiss the freaking lead level design like director, dude, because like the level design is like so thought out, where it's like there's a lot, it's almost like Dishonored in that sense, where there's a lot of different, like Dishonored 2 I can speak to more so, not because I've played both of them, but I feel like Dishonored 2 encapsulated this more, where there's just a lot of different routes you can take, and even like discovering routes, like there's certain little, like there's one where like I was in like kind of a dark room, and like I ended up noticing that there's like a switch on one of the walls, and it's like it's not hidden, but it's like it's the way the aesthetic is, you don't notice that shit right off the bat.
Right.
And like when I found it, I was like, oh shit, there's a lever here, like what does this do? And I flipped the lever, and like a chain fell down, and then I climb up the chain, and I noticed there's like a tiny bit of like another chain kind of peeking out from the top, like over there, and I was like, I wonder if I can jump off of this chain onto that one. And then I actually was able to, and then from there I was able to climb up and like jump off, like into, like I was able to jump out like this like side window on like the building I was in. And from there, I ended up going like completely around, like in like a completely different direction. And like even the aesthetic of the environment, it's very defined, and it's very like different where you're going. And like honestly, there's just so much this game gets right. I think like even the combat, like the main weapon you have, and it's not the main weapon. There's a lot of weapons I'm assuming you'll get throughout, but even just the little bit, there was like 4 weapons I got. Like I got a revolver, I got a shotgun. There was like this like cane sword thing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get this one, but I know it's in there. There's like a flare gun kind of deal. And like there's a bunch of different kind of ammunitions for that, where like some of them are like fire, some of them are just like noise, some of them are like, like, and there's a bunch of stuff like that. But the combat, like, so the first weapon you get is that cane sword. Mm-hmm. And when you go up, it's stuff like this. Like in Resident Evil 4, I think they got the like sauce of like how many shots it takes to kill something. You know what I mean? Like it feels good. Like you pop your shots, it's not like, fuck man, like I'm still popping shots. And part of it too is because of like, if you're going for headshots in that game, like the head bursts and it's like satisfying, and there's that sound of like the psh, like you hear the head exploding, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things like that feed into like the feeling you get and the tactile like aspects of it. But like in this game, the timing of the attacks. So like when I first went up to someone, I was just swinging at them, and it took a while, and I was like, okay, this game's gonna be rough, okay, because like this takes a lot of hits. And like I don't know if there's like when I would walk up to someone from behind, usually there's like a little like press left mouse button and you'll do a backstab, right? And I'm like, I wasn't getting that, so I didn't think there was one. But on a certain encounter, like it showed me that, and it was like hold left mouse click, and it'll when you see it, you'll see your guy pull his little cane back, and like when the tip of the back like sparks, it'll like twinkle. That's when it's like charged up. And so basically that's how you go and do your backstabs. You go behind them, you sneak behind and do that. And like that was just like, I still haven't figured out exactly what the like, so to speak, the head bursting, like tactile satisfying aspect of it was for that one yet. Like I haven't put my finger on it, but there was something to it where like that felt like very satisfying. Like the whole process of me, like I look at somewhere and I'm like, okay, I can like throw something over here and get someone to go over there. And then like, I know if I'm in the shadows, like they're not going to see me. And so let me do that. And then you get the backstab, then you pick up their body, then you move their body and you like hide it in the shadow. Like that whole process was like, it was very rewarding. And in a lot of stealth games, I feel like there's an aspect where it could end up over a period of time feeling just like I'm pressing buttons. And again, I haven't put my finger on what it is exactly, because it's something nuanced that's like making this feel this way. But it felt so satisfying, and I just couldn't wait to go backstab the next guy. And I couldn't wait to get to the next area and see how they're laid out to figure out how to get them in the position where I could backstab them. And like the whole thing with the stealth in that is, again, it's supposed to be very like thief influenced. So one of the big things that they took from that was the whole shadow mechanic, where basically there's visible shadows like on the floor. Like you can see where the shadows are being casted everywhere. And it's really about staying in the shadows. Okay, and you have like this little ring, and that's the thing too, the whole UI is like, there's no UI. So it's incredibly clean. Okay, there's no UI, and all you see is just like little contextual things. It's almost like Dead Space, like it's like on like what's animated in front of you. So the charging of the weapon, like there's no meter that pops up to show the charge, like it's just a little glare on the tip of my sword. Or like to know my if I'm stealth and no one can see me, what you have is like a ring on your thumb. And that ring is literally like always like kind of like shining and glistening and stuff. And when you're hidden, it's like completely pitch black. Because literally like your whole hand will get pitch black. Like all of that visual will go black when you're in the shadows to like indicate that. And so there's a lot of stuff
like that. Sounds like the visual language is like it
is very on point. Okay, and the whole timing and the amount of like hits to kill. Like man, like I could go off on this honestly.
I'll
like
put it to download right
yeah,
now.
I could go off on this, dude. Like
that sounds so good.
There's so much this game gets right, and Yeah, I was I was a little astonished because I bought it because I thought it was out. My dumbass literally didn't see the gigantic banner on Steam that's like early access. And so I played through it, and when I got to the end of it, I was like, wait, what? No, but it was starting to get like really, because it ends when you're like, it's literally the opening that it gives you, because the whole point is I think you're supposed to like, I basically ended where I came right up to like this city, and I didn't get into it yet.
Oh, that sounds so.
But cool. I came right up to it, and like right before I got there, I went to this lighthouse, and there's like this guy that's kind of leading you there from the beginning, like narratively, and he left a note in that lighthouse, and that lighthouse is basically saying like, you know, I knew you'd make it this far. You know, I'm glad you're able to do that, this and that. He's like, come meet me in my shop in the city, and like, you know, we can work something out. And I'm like, whoa, there's a shop? And this and that. And I realized once I got to the early access, I'm like, okay, like, so I think the main meat of the game is this gameplay, but you're in like a whole like free roam city. Because they've even like, that's like in the descriptions for the game. Like, it's supposed to be in this like free roam city where you're like basically thieving around essentially, like in the shadows and lurching and lurking and stuff.
Right.
And you're like getting stuff done, you know? And like, even that, I don't think I can really like explain, because the game doesn't really tell you where to go, but you just kind of know where to go.
Interesting.
And that's one of those things too that I like kind of tripped me out. There's just, again, I think everyone like honestly like watch a playthrough of that early access, and like that'll either sell you or not on the game. From there, you can decide if you want to join in on early access or wait till it releases. For me, I kind of, you know, the die was cast on this one apparently. So yeah, but needless to say, guys, like honestly, like this is one of my most anticipated games right now, because it tickles that little like retro feel, but it's like genuinely like a good game. It's not needlessly and unnecessarily capitalizing on nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like, it's not only capitalizing on nostalgia. Like, that's a factor, but there's a really, really meticulously like crafted game underneath also. You know, because I think at face value, that's kind of the thing where you like, it looks nostalgic, and then you see like, especially the inventory management, it's literally like RE4 inventory management. Like, if you're close up against the wall, that was another one. If you're close up against a wall, you can't open your inventory, because your guy needs space to open up his little like briefcase. It's like, there's little things like that where I'm like, there's just so much stuff. You could tell they were like, well, we could do these things. Let's sit on it for like a really long time and see which one fits what we're going for the best. Because like, it's, dude, like honestly, I'm getting so starry-eyed for this game. It's so focused from the little bit I played. The only thing I hope they don't make it too long in the tooth where I'm like, is this going to end yet? Yeah. You know, I hope that once you get into that more free roam city, like, I'm hoping that sense of direction doesn't become a problem, because again, the game does not really tell you where to go, like, at all. Yeah. And like, for me, like, I think just the way it's laid out, you kind of end up figuring it out because it's built that way. But that city is supposed to be more open, so I'm like, I wonder how they're going to deal with that and stuff. But I'm sure they'll figure something out that'll work. You know, I trust them from just like their back catalog, and then also seeing how they're handling this one, just playing what they've put out. Again, it's like it's very meticulous, the decisions they made, and it's just, oh my god, dude, it's so freaking good. Like, I want to play it again. I'm probably going to play it again. Like, it's just so good. But, yeah, that's Gloomwood, guys. It is on early access on Steam. I believe it was like $17.99, so $18. And yeah, they kind of, I can't remember exactly what the plans were right now, but they've already released some plans of like what they're going to be adding next and how they're going to go about that. And last thing I think I could say about this is I also kind of did research, because they've done this with all their games at early access. They typically don't leave it there for very long. Like, it's about a year or so, just to kind of, I think it's just to kind of keep that final bit of production like funded. I think is why they do that. But yeah, I think this is a really exciting game. I think if you haven't heard about it, check it out, because this is like, dude, this game's freaking awesome.
Awesome.
But,
well, we had a shaky start to the podcast.
Had quite a few little technical difficulties.
But we had a nice, good, long ending.
Yeah. I feel like we made up.
And so with that, we'd like to say we hope you got your fill here. You know, we hope you enjoyed yourself.
Again,
and thank you for listening to Swircast.
Yep. And again, we are streaming twitch.tv/SwirMedia on Mondays from, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And then every Tuesday and Thursday from, 11 p.m. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah, see, he's one of those people I tell you about. They have problems with the AMs and the PMs.
I mix them up, you know.
Listen, hey, we got your back, though. We got each other's back. We got your back. And we hope you'll be back.
Yes.
For episode 9 of Swircast.
It's going to be real special. We got some big things planned for... No, I'm just kidding. We don't have... It's just business as usual, guys.
Which is big things.
Which is big things. We always got big things on usuals.
Stay safe. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.